Serena Williams no longer owes anything to anyone and confesses to Venus what she went through when critics tried to bring her down. The former American tennis player held the world #1 ranking for 319 weeks on the WTA circuit. The tennis world misses Serena Williams, misses that tireless fighter who left everything on the court and who, win or lose, delighted the crowd by leaving the court like a queen. However, the former tennis star remains in the media spotlight in one way or another, so her fans don't lose sight of her so easily. On this occasion, the younger Williams sister spoke to Venus about the criticism she's received. Before getting to the heart of the matter, it's worth remembering that Williams rose to fame in 1999 when she won her first Grand Slam title at the US Open. Over the next 2 decades, the 44-year-old tennis player became a global superstar, winning 22 more Grand Slam titles and holding the world #1 ranking for 319 weeks. A phenomenal player. Serena Williams opens up about the hate that helped her and advises her sister Venus. Recently, on an episode of Stockton Street, a podcast she co-hosts with her sister Venus Williams, Serena Williams spoke candidly about the criticism she has faced throughout her career. She revealed that hate fueled her at times, saying, "For me, it was necessary. I liked being told I couldn't. For me, it was necessary. I liked being told I couldn't." She continued, "As soon as I heard you can't, I was in. It's almost like they're saying, if you hate me, get in line. And it's a really long line, you're going to have to get to the very back," she remarked. In addition to criticism of their matches and results, the Williams sisters also endured racist and sexist behavior from fans and the media during their rise to the top. She said, "I really wanted to be a gymnast. One day my dad asked me, 'What would you do if it doesn't work out in tennis?' And I said, 'I want to be a gymnast.' One day my dad took me aside and said, 'You can't say that anymore.' I was about 10 years old. I swear I was devastated, my heart sank and I thought, 'You crushed my dream of being a gymnast.'" Venus chimed in, adding, "I was already too tall, and you have to start very young. But it was too late and I was heading in the right direction. Straight to Flushing, just around the corner." Instead, Serena dedicated her life to tennis and won her first Grand Slam singles title at the 1999 US Open at just 17 years old. He set a large number of records throughout his career and hung up his racket with a final appearance at the US Open. The California sun was beginning to sink beneath the palm trees outside Serena Williams' home, painting the sky with strokes of gold and rose. Inside, the quiet was almost strange. No reporters waiting at the gate. No physio bags by the door. No rackets leaning against the kitchen counter like soldiers ready for battle. The house felt like it was breathing again, like it had shed a weight it had carried for too long. Serena sat on the large white sofa, soft light spilling over her like a spotlight she no longer had to stand beneath. Venus entered with 2 mugs of tea, the familiar peppermint blend they'd shared since they were kids. "You look like someone who's finally sleeping 8 hours, Venus teased, handing her sister the mug. Serena smiled, but there was something deeper behind the curve of her lips. A quiet victory, a peace she had earned in ways most people would never understand. "I think," Serena said, "for the first time in my life, I don't feel like I owe anybody anything." Venus sat beside her, crossing one long leg over the other. "You never owed anyone anything," she said simply. Serena looked down at her hands, hands that had won 23 Grand Slams, rewritten record books, and carried the weight of expectations heavier than any trophy. "Maybe not," she answered, "but it felt like I did." The room settled into silence, not uncomfortable, but thick with the truth that had been waiting for years. Finally, Serena spoke. "You know, when the critics came at me the hardest, it wasn't losing that hurt. It wasn't the headlines or the accusations. It was the idea that after everything I gave this sport, after everything we fought to build, I still had to justify my existence. My body. My emotions. My power." Venus didn't interrupt. She knew this story. She had watched it play out from the front row and from the shadows. Serena continued, her voice steady but soft. "There were moments I felt like they didn't want me to win. Not really. They wanted the idea of me, the icon, the inspiration, the storyline. But the real me? The human me? The one who made mistakes, who had emotions, who grew, who changed." She shook her head. "They hated that version." Venus breathed in slowly, absorbing every word. "Serena, why didn't you tell me how heavy it got? Not all this. Not like this." "Because I didn't want you to carry it too," Serena said. "You already carried enough for both of us. You were the trailblazer. You took the hits before I even knew they were coming. I thought I had to be the strong one for you." Venus blinked, her usually calm expression breaking into something vulnerable. Serena, you never had to protect me from yourself. Serena gave a small laugh, half humor, half pain. Maybe. But there were nights, nights when I'd lie awake knowing people were waiting for me to slip, waiting to turn me into a villain the moment I defended myself. Nights when I thought, maybe they're right. Maybe I am too much. Too emotional. Too loud. Too ambitious. Venus placed her hand on Serena's knee, grounding her the way only an older sister could. Serena. Being too much is exactly why you became the greatest. Serena's eyes glistened. Not with sadness but with relief, the kind of release that comes when truth is finally spoken aloud. I guess I just got tired, she whispered. Not tired of the game. I'll always love tennis. But tired of explaining myself. Tired of fighting battles I didn't start. Tired of proving to people who never wanted to see me clearly. She looked at Venus, at the sister who had fought beside her, against her, and for her since they were girls hitting balls on cracked public courts. I don't owe them anything anymore, Serena said. Not my joy. Not my strength. Not my silence. Not my pain. Venus smiled, but there was a glimmer of sadness there, the kind that comes from recognizing the cost of greatness. You never did. You never should have. Serena sipped her tea, letting its warmth steady her. Do you know what I owe now? Only this. She placed a hand over her heart. My truth. My peace. My daughter. My life. My happiness. That's it. Venus nodded. And the world still loves you. Not because you owe them anything, but because you gave them everything you had. Serena laughed, a bright, free laugh that filled the room like music. I gave them a lot, didn't I? You gave them history, Venus said. And you did it while being unapologetically yourself. They sat together, shoulder to shoulder, watching the last rays of sun disappear outside. For a moment they were just two sisters again, the same two who once practiced serves until their arms felt like stone, who whispered dreams into the dark, who promised to lift each other no matter how high the world tried to pull them. Do you ever miss it? Venus asked gently. Every day, Serena answered honestly. But I don't miss who I had to be. Venus's lips curved into a knowing smile. So who are you now? Serena looked forward.